everybody out there in Ireland. This is Chris from NationalLegacy.com here for another exciting episode of My Talking Head, and this is another review for you. And today we're talking about American Sniper. American Sniper stars Bradley Cooper and Sienna Miller and is directed by Clint Eastwood, and it is a movie that is storming the country. It is well on its way to becoming the highest-grossing R-rated film of all time. There's a lot of controversy surrounding this film. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the true story of this film. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the character in this film. There's so much. It's like a perfect storm of a sandstorm, if you will, of just stuff. I don't want to get too political with this review because I know that there's a lot of back and forth. Some people calling American Sniper like a propaganda film, and then you have other people that are saying, "Oh, you're crazy because it's a propaganda film." Blah blah blah. Is it a propaganda film? No, it is a very patriotic film. There's a lot of stuff in this film to get behind for America, America, America. You have Chris Kyle, who was the greatest American sniper of all time. This movie is. I don't want to say it's a crowd-pleasing film because it's not a crowd-pleasing film given the content, but for American audiences, it is sort of a rallying cry to get behind. It wears its patriotism on its sleeve. It is not afraid to show it. It is what it is, and in a way, this movie is very frustrating to sort of talk about because. Where in one aspect I do feel that they sort of shove that patriotism aspect too far, in your face. The other aspect of this film that I found very, very fascinating was the psychological aspects of war, the effects of war, the effects of war on one's family, the effects of how this can mess with your head. And there are moments in this film where it's almost like they want to go there, but then they just kind of brush it off and don't explore that aspect a whole great deal. And for me, that disappointed me. I wanted more from that story. Like, the other stuff is fine. Like, it's a fine movie. It's an adequate movie. It's very well directed. Bradley Cooper is very good in it. It's just a okay movie. For me, there was nothing really special about it. Like, I really wish they would have explored that aspect of psychology more in the movie. I think it could have added something instead of it being this straightforward, war movie that's like a rallying cry for America. They really could have explored that other aspect more, in my opinion, and it would have added a whole lot more depth to the film. And that just kind of got lost for me. The last 15 minutes or so of this film was like, I was like, all right, we're finally going to start to go there. But by the time we got to it, it was a little too late. And they didn't explore it as much as they wanted them to explore it. Especially given the character. I mean, the character of Chris Kyle is portrayed as like, this very wholesome, down-to-earth, American, born and bred, cowboy, very southern accent, gods and gun type of person. And for me, it was interesting to see where his psyche went when he was over there. Because, I mean, he signs up to go because, he wants to die, to America. and then, when they do try to start to explore that stuff, like I said, it just kind of gets brushed over. And I think that was kind of a mistake. I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad film. It's just an okay movie. It's a little long. It's not boring by any means, but it is a little long. The only reason why this movie is nominated for an Oscar is because of one scene in particular, and that is the sandstorm scene. And that's the only thing I'm going to say about it. It is a very well done scene. But as far as the rest of the movie goes, like, I really can't see why this movie was nominated for Best Picture. I mean, I can on one aspect, but on the other, on a level, Bradley Cooper is really good in this movie as well. But I was so disappointed because when Bradley Cooper actually gets to play a character, when you start getting into that psyche of war and stuff like that. Like that's really where he was shining in this role, and there's just not enough in there for me. I wanted more of that. 2/3 of this movie are very much an in-your-face, patriotic, you know, terrorism, bad America, go get bad guys type of movie, and I just didn't find that interesting. Like I get it. I really wanted to see more of that character and how the effects of war, you know, played in his life before his tragic death. I really wanted to see that. I wanted to see, because especially knowing what I know about the real life story and about how what went down with Kyle and the other person at the gun range, I wanted to know more about that, because I think it would have added a whole lot more to the film. But instead, it's just a straightforward type. It's almost like, imagine if Michael Bay had done this movie. You know, it very much does feel like a Michael Bay film, except it's got the hand of Clint Eastwood, a much more capable director, making this movie. So he paints by numbers the right, you know, the right points to hit in the film in terms of the whole patriotic aspect of it or whatever. But it's the other stuff is just kind of glossed over, and you know, it is what it is. I know some people have been calling this like a propaganda film. There's a lot of controversy surrounding this movie, and it's very interesting. It's also very interesting how this movie came out of nowhere. Like I said in the beginning of this, it is well on its way to becoming the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. It is just sweeping the country right now. It's an okay movie. I really wanted more. That being said, it is better than, say, Clint Eastwood's Jersey Boys, or even Clint Eastwood's J. Edgar, which I thought was just boring. There was nothing there. But it is a very well directed, well shot, and well acted film. There's no problems with that there. Problems that I had with it were in storytelling, the fact that they just kind of gloss over, you know, other aspects that I think should have been explored more. It is what it is. I don't want to say too much more, because like this movie is very divisive, and you know, I don't know. I just don't. I feel like they could have done more, and it's that irks me so much, because you know, there could have been something more there, and that really to me was the most disappointing aspect of the film. But Bradley Cooper is good in it. It's well shot. It's well directed. It's got the story I didn't really care for. And the patriotism poking of the bear was I thought a little too much. Not saying that it's a propaganda film. Not saying, you know, it is whatever, blah blah blah, like all that stuff. Like I don't care about that stuff. That's all political nonsense. I don't care about it. I'm looking at the film solely as it is, and I thought that the first 2/3 were a little too much poking of the whole patriotism thing, and they could have explored other aspects in the story that would have just elevated it to something else entirely, instead of it just being on the surface this, you know, America, go get the bad guys type of thing. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give American Sniper a C+. It's a okay movie. You know, if you're really like, you know, America type person, you love it. I really do think that audiences are responding to this movie as much as they are, because it is such a simple film. You know, it's a very, like I think I said earlier, wears it on its sleeve. It's a very patriotic film. It's a very, you know, it's very easy to rally around Chris Kyle as a character and what he accomplished here in America. You know, and it is what it is. But I wanted more, and I didn't get more. So American Sniper, C+. But that's it for me, guys. I will talk to you later.